Hi everyone, welcome to Bonnie Carolee Makes Cards. Today's cards feature Spellbinders CINCH GO Blossoms, and they are all about rainbows, one in soft pastel shades and the other vivid and vibrant. As usual, if anything grabs your attention, links can be found in the description of this YouTube video or on my blog at bonniecarolee.com. These cards begin with layered die-cut backgrounds to showcase these pretty flowers. All of my die cutting was done off camera. There will be a card that has a white background and the other one black. I used rectangular dies from Spellbinders' layered stitched background. These stacking die cuts are perfect for this background. I'm also going to be using Spellbinders' lovely card creator. I first cut the frame out of cardstock and then went back to the other die set and used that base die to put some pretty detail in the center. The card bases for this pair of cards are A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. A black cardstock panel of the same size is adhered to one of the card bases for the black background. When working with anything with fine die cuts, my liquid adhesive of choice is Tombow glue. This adhesive is dotted on the two smaller rectangular panels. I also apply it around the perimeter of the base panel. Everything is set aside to dry. When Tombow glue is dry, it is tacky and repositionable, making it a perfect choice for stacking. And that gives me time to work on these simple ink blended flowers. For each of the cards, 3 different size flowers and their centers were die cut from Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'm working with Distress Oxide ink and daubers. This first set of flowers are for the black background and they're more vivid. Between the 3 flowers and the centers, I'm covering off all the colors of the rainbow. 2 of the rainbow colors will be applied to separate components of the flower. The flower centers will be done in fossilized amber, and the small bloom will be done in villainous potion. The largest flower is a combination of carved pumpkin in the center and finishing off on the ends of the petals with candied apple. The final 2 rainbow colors will be done with Mermaid Lagoon and Mowed Lawn on the medium-sized flower. For the card with the white background, everything will be done in soft pastel shades. Scattered straw is applied to the center of the flowers and the soft and pretty milled lavender to the smallest flower. A combination of dried marigold and tattered rose were used on the largest flower. These inks take a while to dry, and the craft pick is a good tool for holding these small die cuts in place. We don't want any nasty fingerprints on them. And the medium-sized flower was inked with a combination of peeled paint and tumbled glass. The simple hello for each of these cards is from Spellbinders' Layered Mix and Match Sentiments. This is a great set with all kinds of scripty words and their accompanying shadows. The scripty hello was die cut from both white cardstock and black cardstock. I used all of the colors that were used in the flowers to create a rainbow ink blend on the shadow die cut. One shadow was done in all the vivid colors, and of course the other one in the softer pastel shades. Tombow glue was used on these fine die cut sentiments and they were set aside to dry. With all the elements complete, these 2 cards are assembled very quickly. Just a reminder that Tombow glue was used on the lacy portion of this panel, and of course it was left to dry. Liquid adhesive has been used in the center portion where it was more solid. The smaller rectangular panel with the thicker lines goes on first. It is lined up with the dotted detail in the center of the base panel. The last panel with its thinner lines is stacked on top. Keeping all the layers the same color adds lots of beautiful detail without being overwhelmed with busyness. The Tombow glue is dry on my scripty die cuts and I pop those on their shadows. They are then stacked on a foam die cut. White foam was used for the pastel rainbow and black foam for the more vivid one. The flowers have been arranged on their card bases and I start by gluing the centers directly to the flowers. The largest flower is adhered first to the top corner of the inner rectangular panel. The other two flowers are arranged and adhered, and then on goes the sentiment. The pastel florals and sentiment are arranged exactly the same way as the other card. I happen to have two rainbow mixes of confetti, one in pastels and the other more vivid, perfect for these cards. The confetti was added to the flower centers and then a few accents around the flowers. The addition of Nouveau Crystal Drops Morning Dew really makes these embellishments stand out. And that completes these rainbow cards featuring Spellbinders Cinch Go Blossoms. Whether you have a preference for those soft pastel shades or lean more towards something that is bright and vivid, in my opinion, you can never go wrong with rainbow colors. Thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I appreciate your visit.